Welcome back, boys and girls. I hope that you guys are all having a fantastic day today. So, I recently did a video about Marvel's First Firmament, and if you watched that video, you might have noticed that when I was talking about how the First Firmament was defeated and how the Marvel Multiverse was created, I included a caption on the bottom of the screen that said that they stole the idea from Mortal Kombat. And after thinking about it, I decided that I might as well make a video explaining why I said that just in case somebody was curious. So, in the Ultimates Volume 2, Issue 6, the First Firmament explains how he was defeated and how the multiverse was created. When Al Ewing was writing that story, I do not know if he just decided to steal the origin story of the Mortal Kombat multiverse and use it, but I do feel like the similarities need to be acknowledged at least. So let's start with Marvel. The first iteration of the Marvel Cosmos was a single universe, unlike the multiverse that it is today, and the abstract manifestation of that universe is the First Firmament. He eventually created the Aspirants and the Celestials, and after a period of time, both the Aspirants and the Celestials created life on their own. The Aspirants created life to serve them. They wanted to control them, and they were really just trying to gain the approval and praise from the First Firmament. Now, the Celestials, they created life, and they could not have cared any less about the approval of the First Firmament because they wanted independence. They wanted the life that they created to evolve, and they had the universe evolve with them. They wanted them to know change, growth, and mortality. They wanted them to more or less have free will. Now, due to a divergence of ideas, differing views on things, such as but not limited to what they wanted for the life in their multiverse, a war broke out between the Aspirants and the Celestials, and eventually the Celestials created a weapon so powerful that they were able to shatter the First Firmament. Countless new universes were born from the shattered pieces and the pure substance of the First Firmament, and these universes gave form to a new entity, the Second Cosmos, but the First Multiverse. This was the birth of the very first Eternity. Now, despite being shattered, the First Firmament survived, but he was injured, he was weakened, and he had to flee to the far shore. Now, from the far shore, he had to watch as the multiverse evolved while waiting for the perfect moment to attack. In his own words, he wanted to take things back to a single, simpler time when there was only one universe, one reality, one totality, and when he was the embodiment of everything. He wanted to end the multiverse. Now, since he was not able to enter eternity himself, he sent in his aspirants to infect eternity and to weaken him to make it easier for him to absorb him later on. Now, this would also allow him to reclaim his position as the embodiment of everything that exists. Now, let's look at Mortal Kombat. So, at the beginning of time, there was the one being, the Titans, and the Elder Gods. Now, it's never directly stated that the one being created the Titans and the Elder Gods, like how the First Firmament created the Aspirants and the Celestials, but at one point, the Elder God Cetrion states that they were all children of the one being. So, this heavily implies that he did, in fact, create them. Now, eventually, a war broke out, the Elder Gods and Titans versus the One Being, and the Elder Gods created 6 mystical weapons known as the Kamidogu, and they used them to shatter the One Being into countless pieces, and these pieces became the realms that make up the current Mortal Kombat multiverse. Now, after some time, life appeared in the realms, so the Titans and the Elder Gods had to decide what they wanted to do or how they were going to deal with the denizens of the realms. And the Titans, led by Kronika, the Keeper of Time, wanted them to follow paths that were created for them. They wanted to control them, while the Elder Gods wanted them to evolve naturally and to be able to follow their own paths. They wanted to give them free will. Now, this divergence of ideas and differing views about what they should do about the life in the multiverse led to a war between the Titans and the Elder Gods eventually won. Now, despite being shattered, the consciousness of the one being survived. He lacked a physical form, so all he could do was watch and wait for an opportunity to reunite the realms and make himself whole again. So everything would once again be a part of him. Now, that lack of a physical form complicated things. He could not just go out and reunite the realms by himself, so he had to instead use the power he had left to influence and manipulate Onaga and Shao Kahn, and this is why they were both so determined to invade and merge all the realms with the Outworld. They were trying to reunite the realms to make the one being whole again, and they did not even realize it. Now, those are just some basic explanations of the origin stories for Mortal Kombat and in Marvel. If I was to give a more detailed explanation, I'd be able to provide more examples, but I think that I've given enough. 3 is good, I believe. So to reiterate, the Marvel Multiverse and the Mortal Kombat Multiverse were both born from the shattered remains of a virtually all-powerful entity after their subordinates created a weapon powerful enough to shatter them. In both origin stories, not being able to agree on how the life in the multiverse should be treated ended up starting a civil war between the children of the all-powerful beings that were shattered. The First Firmament and the One Being both survived being shattered and sat around for ages waiting for an opportunity to destroy the multiverse, to reunite the universes or realms, and to make themselves whole so everything would once again be a part of them. One other thing to keep in mind is that Mortal Kombat introduced the Kamidogu in Mortal Kombat Deception, which was released in 2004, and the One Being made his first appearance, his only physical appearance, in Shinnok's ending of Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, which was released in 2015. Well, The Ultimates Volume 2, Issue 6 was released in 2017, 2 years after Mortal Kombat X. So when you consider the similarities in the timing, it seems kind of sketchy, right? But no, I'm not going to seriously accuse Marvel of actually stealing the idea. But at the same time, we have to face reality, right? There was a time when the comic book industry was home to some of the most creative minds on the planet, and that time has unfortunately passed. So while I'm not accusing them of stealing the idea, I would not put it past them. So that is all I've got for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've made it this far, thank you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. If you've not already, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.